YouTubers around their crossing, and today we're going to be ranking tiger villagers and lion villagers together, only because I wanted to put them both together this time, only because I didn't get a chance to, rank them around August time, so I was doing another few videos around that area, you know what I mean? So I thought sometimes when I plan new videos, sometimes I can't get time to do other things and that stuff, you know what I mean? That's why I get to it. So the first lion villager we have is Bud. Well, he's one that I would recommend for chocolate core, only because he kind of gives you chocolate vibes. So if you really are desperate to escape during the summertime, then he'll be the one that you'd probably want. And plus, if you are doing a chocolate island, then I recommend Bud straight away. Well, I gave him an S tier only because he's definitely one of my favourite villagers now, because he's kind of like a cool dude in a way, so that's why I put him in S tier, etc. So I'm not ranking them out of 10 or anything, I'm just doing it by tiers instead. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next lion villager we have is Elvis, who's a cranky villager. Well, I was thinking about what Iron Core he'll be a good villager suggestion for, but I was thinking around maybe Fantasy Core, only because he looks like a king because he wears his own little cloak and that stuff, and I feel like he'd be a good Fantasy Core villager that you might want to have if you are doing Fantasy Core in etc. But what I've done is I've ranked him as a B tier, okay-ish, only because I like his design, but I'm kind of not sure about it. That's why I put on K-ish. So okay-ish is kind of a bit on the cautious side sort of things. That's what I've done really. So let's get to the next one, shall we? Our next lion villager we have is Leopold, who's a smug villager. Well, I was kind of thinking about what Iron Core I should put in him, but I was thinking cottage core only because he could also fit the cottage core aesthetic by looking at his it's like a cardigan or probably a jumper sort of thing that he's wearing, like a woolly jumper or something. But I was thinking if it came to cottage core, will he fit the vibe? But I think he probably would fit the vibe a little bit better, but who knows. Well, I had to give him a D tier, which I put as least popular villager tier, only because he is kind of least popular, and for me, I'm not sure if I would want him on my island or anything, so that's what I mean by that. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next lion villager is Lionel. Well, I think Lionel and Elvis could be Fantasy Core lions that you could probably go for, because they both kind of look similar. One looks like the elder brother and the other one looks the younger brother, so you could make a reference there if you are doing Fantasy Core etc. But again, I didn't know what to give him in particular, so I'll put him on to B tier, which is okay-ish. In other words, it's the cautious core for me, so that's what I mean when it comes to that tier in particular. But let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next lion villager we have is Mont. Well, I think Mont and Leopold are kind of they have their own college and school type things going in their house interiors, so they kind of stand out teachers in a way, but I quite like their kind of similarity between them both. But the thing is, they kind of give me the cottage core sort of vibe, so I'm going to probably stick with that anyway. Well, I had to give him a D tier only because I think him and Leopold's designs are kind of a bit put off a little bit. I think if they had more personality in them, then they would probably be more popular than most of the lions in the series, so that's what I mean by that really. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next lion villager we have is Rex, who's a lazy villager. Well, I think Rex is definitely a kid core villager in my opinion, only because I think I can see him fitting in the kid core aesthetic pretty well, and plus I think his house interior has a lot of kid core elements in there as well, so I think if I was doing another kid core video, I'll probably recommend Rex in particular, so you know what I mean. Well, I gave him an A tier, which means he's kind of a cool villager, so in a way it's also a good tier to rank him with, so that's why I'll give him cool villager for example. So you know what I mean, sometimes you can do stuff if you were actually using the tier list things. So what I was thinking about making my own little tier list when it comes to lions and tigers today, so you know what I mean. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our last lion of the lions is Rory. Well, Rory kind of gives me more Sencore vibes, and plus I think he definitely fits the Sencore vibe a little bit more, only because I like his design, and plus He definitely looks one of the most like, you know, iconic lions there are to have like a Zencore kind of vibe going on with them, so I quite like that. And I think if you are doing a Zencore island, Warrior would be my best suggestion for you. And plus I had to give him a C tier, which stands for Safe Spot Villager, only because he's not really that popular, you see, and I think I quite like his design, so it puts me in that safe spot for him. So you know what I mean, you've got to give some villagers safe spots sometimes, you know what I mean, when you're ranking them. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So for our first villager of the tigers, we have Bengal, who's a pretty villager. Well, I'm thinking to myself that Bengal could fit two cores, like iron cores in particular. I was thinking maybe jungle core and tropical core, only because she fits the two vibes at the same time, and I quite like how her house exterior gives me more tropical vibes, and even her interior gives me that sort of vibe. So it kind of gives me a lot of things to think about when it comes to Bingle, so that's why I've given her an A tier, which is Cool Villager, because she's definitely one of the villagers that I would recommend, like, you know, villager hunting for if you're doing tropical core or jungle core, for example, because even though it might take you a while to find her, sometimes that happens when you're looking for a different species, but there's only like 7 of these, so you might be 1 in 7 chance of finding a tiger, so fingers crossed for that. So let's get to the next one, shall we? For our next tiger villager, we have Bianca, who's now a Perry villager. Well, I'm thinking to myself, she kind of resembles a snow leopard, so I was thinking when it came to, like, you know, iron cores, etc., I was thinking wintry core might fit her very well, because she gives me more a wintry vibe, because snow leopards indeed live in the mountains, don't they? So it kind of makes sense that she'd probably, like, you know, fit the wintry vibe very well. So you do want to have her on your winter core island. I recommend it very well. Also, I had to give her an A tier, which means cool tier, only because I like her design. It pretty stands out, and plus she does definitely resemble a snow leopard. So you know what I mean? Snow leopards are definitely cool, and they are definitely endangered at the moment. But you know what I mean? Let's get to the next one, shall we? For our next tiger villager, we have Claudia, who is a snooty villager. Well, I think she's like the only snooty tiger there is in the tiger species and that stuff. And plus, she's definitely the only purple and pink tiger in particular, so it kind of makes her stand out a bit differently from all the others. And the only iron core I could only suggest for her would have to be Egg Core, because I think Egg Core definitely suits the Snooty's personality, maybe City's personality. It kind of depends, really. It just depends on their colour palette, etc. But I think Egg Core could definitely be an iron core that everyone could probably go with at the moment. So yeah, if you think she's a good video suggestion for Egg Core, let me know. I also had to give her B tier, only because I couldn't really think, like, you know, straight which one to go with. I think it's kind of my cautious sort of thing at the moment. The next villager is Leonardo. Well, I couldn't really decide which iron core I was going to go with for him. It was pretty hard for me because one thing, he's an actual leopard, but I couldn't really suggest other cores for him, so the only one I had to specifically go for would have to be jungle core only, because I think he definitely fits the jungle core vibe, because he's like, you know, a leopard or a cheetah. The leopard and cheetah is kind of similar, but I was thinking he could resemble that in a way. And plus, I had to give him a D tier only because he's kind of like, you know, least popular villager, and I think if anyone wanted him on their islands, they probably would want Leonardo, but I was not really sure when it came to it, you know what I mean? So let's get the next one, shall we? So for our next tiger villager, we have Rolf, who's a cranky villager. Well, I was thinking to myself, is this more of like, you know, probably a white tiger, because he kind of gives me those white tiger vibes, and plus Bianca and him would be a good, like, you know, villager suggestion for wintry core, only because wintry core is definitely kind of popular lately, and I feel like wintry core is definitely one that I'll definitely want to do at some point. But the thing is, if you're doing it in the northern hemisphere, then you've got more of a chance of it, like, you know, being like more wintry. So if you wanted to plan it around, like, at least in the dream address for it, I recommend probably December, January and February, around that time, you know what I mean? And also I had to give him an A tier only because he's definitely more one that I would definitely want to, like, you know, I would want to have on my island, etc. That's what I mean, really. So our Our next tiger villager we have is Rowan, who is a jock villager. Well, apparently Rowan's definitely he's definitely like, original tiger villager that I recommend for two cores, which is jungle core and particularly tropical core, only because he kind of fits those two vibes at the same time. And plus I was quite close to having him on my island at some point, but I think Rowan's definitely a good village suggestion for both cores if you're actually doing like tropical core islands or maybe jungle core islands. It kind of depends really. If you've got a theme when it comes to like having tigers and that stuff, then I recommend Rowan for you. Well, I had to give him an S tier because he's definitely one of the best tigers there are in the tiger species, so that's why I think Rowan definitely fits into that category. So let's see who our last tiger villager is, eh? For our last tiger villager we have Tybalt. Well, Tybalt to me, he definitely looks more of a jock, doesn't he? Because he's wearing like a hoodie and that stuff, and he definitely wants work out and that stuff. But I couldn't really decide what iron core I was supposed to give him either, so it's kind of hard to, when it comes to doing tiger villagers etc, which iron core will suit him the best. So I had to go with jungle core obviously, so that's what I had to do in the end. Well, I had to give him a D tier because I know he's not really that popular, but if his appearance looked a bit different and everyone might want want to have one of their lines, it might have looked a bit better, and then Tybalt could then become popular and that stuff. It kind of depends on popularity sometimes when it comes to animalcrossingnewhorizons, etc. That's what I mean really. I wanted to mix up when it came to lions and tigers today, only because they're both kind of they both look similar, but they both have the same amount of villagers in them because they both have 7 each, so it kind of makes sense that I should have ranked them. So I thought, why not rank them both together for a change, you know what I mean? Sometimes I can just mix it up if I want to, you know what I mean? Make sure you leave a like on this video. If you're new to my channel and want to see more of my content, please subscribe to a variety of content you might enjoy. Might involve Animal Crossing content, Utopia content. Well, what I might do next week is that I might do another Iron Tour videos, but I might release it on Friday, but I might not do it as a premiere. I might just upload it and that stuff, but then the following week I might do another Iron Tour, so stay tuned for those two. Until our notification for the Animal Crossing and Utopia content things, I'll say goodbye for Animal Crossing, I'll see you next one, so bye!